And welcome again to Cottage Talk. I am Russ Goldman. This is my full-time show. My initial reaction to Fulham's 3-2 victory against Liverpool at Craven Cottage. Incredible match. Incredible first half from Fulham Football Club to come back from a goal down and score three and hold on in the second half, give up a goal in the second half to hold on and beat the team that's going to win the league. An incredible match, a historical victory for Fulham Football Club. I believe they've not beaten Liverpool at Craven Cottage since 2011. I remember that. It's been a while, and it's been coming. I just been saying this victory against Liverpool has been coming. I said it last season. I said the season before. We play them tough, and eventually we were going to beat them, and it finally came true. And so many players, Marco, to give praise to, but this is a quick show. This is my initial reaction. So if you're watching live, feel free to share your comments on it. I'll go for about 15 to 20 minutes. Trust me, we're going to have more coverage of this massive victory. By the way, Fulham are currently 8th in the Premier League. That is an incredible feat in itself. I was speaking to Tony Gold before the match, and I said, if they win, they're 8th. Just think about that. So let's put aside losing to Crystal Palace and going out in the cup. Let's put aside the Arsenal loss. I've heard enough about that. This is the one that I was personally targeting. Yes, I predicted a Fulham victory. I am going to call my own shot here. I did say it. I didn't get the score right. I said 2-1, but I had a feeling that Fulham will put out not just a performance, but grind out a victory some way. And that's exactly what we saw today. And I'm excited to just get to it and just share my initial reaction. And it's this: Fulham deserved to win this match. Now, you're going to hear a lot of talk about how poor Liverpool played, how that maybe they weren't up for it because they pretty much have the league all sealed up. Don't believe any of that, because I'm here to tell you that, yes, Liverpool did not play to their capability, but there's a reason for it. It's called Fulham Football Club. They made it difficult on Liverpool. Liverpool had their moments. 2 very good goals from them. Very good goals. But defensively, Fulham made them look shaky, and I thought about that before the match. We talked about that in the preview, that their defense was something that I felt Fulham could take advantage of, and they absolutely did. And they were on them. They were dangerous on the break, but they took it to Liverpool. And Liverpool, when they get their passing on, it looks great, and they deserve to win the league. But Fulham deserved to win this match 3-2. End of story. We can argue about Harvey Elliott hitting the bar, which he did. A couple saves from Bernd Leno in stoppage time. You have Mo Salah pretty much missing a sitter. All that is true. But then you have a couple of opportunities from Fulham Football Club as well. In the end, disregard all that crap, because it's about the 3 points. And Fulham deserved all 3 points. By the way, I'm going to mention this. The one thing that I don't like, and I call out Fulham players on this, so I'm going to call out a Liverpool player. Shame on Luis Diaz, who scored a good goal for his dive in the second half. That was a dive to try to win a penalty. I don't like players that do that. So I'm going to call that on my initial reaction. Just not something that is needed when Fulham players do it. I call him out. Mitro did it. I called him out. Quint Dempsey was terrible at it. Shame on Luis Diaz for his terrible dive. Let's just call it what it is. Okay. So let's get to it, and let's start early on in the match. I thought it was pretty even for the first several minutes, but Liverpool started gaining some momentum, and it was a mistake that led to a goal. I believe it was on Alex Iwobi, but he redeemed himself a little bit later. That led to a very great goal by McAllister. I don't think there's much that Bernd Leno can do. We'll talk about this on upcoming shows if my co-hosts feel that there was something that could have been done. But I'm here to tell you that that was a great goal. And Fulham go down 1-0, and you're thinking, uh-oh, this could get ugly, because you're thinking that Liverpool are going to push forward, and they were obviously looking for that second goal. But what's interesting here is that at this point, it was going to be about what type of team was going to show up. What kind of fight would you see from Fulham Football Club after giving up that goal? Well, Fulham supporters learned that there's a lot of fight in this team. And a move that I was just screaming for on Cottage Talk, I'm going to say it right now. When we talk about the equalizer from Fulham, it's Ryan Sessegnon. I've just been saying Ryan Sessegnon should play. He did play on the right. I was saying on the left on our preview show, but I think I understand why Marco went with him as the right wing, and he played very well, was very dangerous, and scored a very good goal. And now, game on, still early on in the match, you're at 1-1. And now you're thinking, okay, can you build on this? And that's exactly what we saw from Fulham Football Club. From the minute they scored that goal, it was all Fulham the rest of the half. Liverpool looked shaky, defensively all over the place. Konate was terrible. Van Dijk, not good at all. And then, of course, I thought Fulham took advantage of Curtis Jones and Andy Robertson. That's what they should have been doing. That defense was vulnerable, and Fulham took advantage of it, especially in the first half. So, again, they're up. Actually, at this point, they're not up. They are at 1-1, and then you're thinking, can they add to it? Well, another mistake from Liverpool leads to Iwobi's goal, which makes it 2-1. And Iwobi played great. He could be your man of the match. And Fulham are off to the races at this point. But I'm thinking that's certainly not enough. And it's going to be a nervy game if Fulham cannot score another goal or a couple of goals. I was not going to feel comfortable at 2-1, even though my prediction was 2-1. But Iwobi makes it 2-1 off of a mistake from Liverpool. And that's followed up shortly after that from Rodrigo Muniz, who made Van Dijk look just ridiculous. He made him look ridiculous and showed a little bit of his age. But I heard some comments from Tim Howard at halftime of the match that I watched on Peacock, and he said that basically that Rodrigo Muniz is a striker in the Premier League, whether it's with Fulham or someone else. Well, we hope, obviously, that it's with Fulham moving forward. But he was just tremendous in scoring this goal, but he was physical against Van Dijk the entire game, worked his socks off. Fulham are up 3-1. And I don't know about anyone else, but I'm thinking we still need another goal. We absolutely still need another goal. And Fulham were trying to get another one, but the half ends 3-1. And my analysis here is that scoreline is warranted. It's not a fluke. It's not about simply that Liverpool were poor, that they weren't taking the game seriously, or any of that crap. It was that Fulham bounced back after giving up an early goal and then just took off once they scored their goal. They looked so dangerous on the break. They were taking it to Liverpool, and Liverpool's defense really had little answers for Fulham in that first half. So that's the way I look at it. Fulham dominated overall that first half and deserved a 3-1 lead. It could have been more, but 3-1, I will take it to half. And that's what we had going into the second half. So when we look at the second half, what's interesting here to start the talk about the second half, like I said, the announcers I was listening to were saying that he expected Slot to make changes at halftime, which he did not do. But I will say this, that the changes he did make early in the second half definitely made a difference. He made several changes. The one most notable, Diaz, I think, made a huge difference. Connor Bradley was dangerous as well. He made several changes. He brought in Darwin Núñez. So he went for it to change the match, and it gave Liverpool a lift. And that leads to the goal in the 72nd minute from Diaz. This happened very quickly that I didn't really get a chance to settle in, because next thing I know, the camera angle, scores this goal and it's 3-2. And we've got 18 minutes left plus stoppage time to see this out. And of course, at that point, Marco's making all of his changes. And I think his changes definitely made a difference to help Fulham see this match out. I'll go into more detail. We will when we do our episodes, because there were going to be several episodes about this victory. This is more just of an initial reaction show, but I will say the substitutes made a massive difference in this match. Absolutely, to see it out. Thought they just solidified everything in the end. But also, like I said, the substitutes for Liverpool changed the game for them. So let's go to the end. And old friend Harvey Elliott hits the bar. So let's just say that, like I said, you're going to hear talk about, well, Liverpool should have gotten a point because he hits the bar. Mo Salah misses a sitter. And then you have the two saves from Bern Leno in stoppage time. So this wasn't easy, but they found a way to hold on. It was never going to be pretty. By the way, Fulham could have put the match away on the opportunity from Harrison Reed late in the match. Harrison Reed came on and did a nice job as well. And it was great to see Kenny Tete back. I want to mention that as well. I like the fact that Tete played. I think he was your right back moving forward. Just great to have him back. But overall, yes, it was very nervy in the end. I was sweating it out. I'm a pacer, and I was pacing around my house until the very end. 6 minutes of stoppage time. It went very slow for me. But in the end, they saw the match out, and they got all 3 points, and that's amazing. Just think about some of the victories Fulham have had this season. They've done the double over two teams, Newcastle United, and they've done the double over Nottingham Forest. Now they've beaten Liverpool. All these teams are ahead of them. And they've beaten Chelsea. And they have a chance to beat Chelsea again. And I'm going to say right now, I'm predicting Fulham to beat Chelsea. How about that? So I think there's a lot more to come from this team because this match can now be the launching pad for the rest of the season. So for those who want to say Fulham can't make Europe, that they're out of it, well, they're right back in it again. They have a decent chance now. They had to win this match to really put themselves in position to potentially do something. And they've also showed themselves that they can beat anyone. If you can beat Liverpool, yes, you can beat Man City. Yes, you can beat Aston Villa on the road, Bournemouth on the road. You can win these matches. Brentford, yes, you can win these matches. They now have an opportunity. They've given themselves that chance. And that's what's great about this victory. Okay. Coming up next to end the show, I'm going to share my thoughts on man of the match. Okay, so when we do our shows coming up, it's going to be interesting to see what the Fulham supporters say who was man of the match. So if you're watching live, and I have almost 100 people watching live with me, please feel free to share who was your man of the match. I'll mention a few names. How about Alex Iwobi, who I thought was great in this match? Fantastic. Really great in this match. So I'm going to mention him. But the player I'm going to give man of the match to might surprise a few people, but it's actually going to be Calvin Bassey. Calvin Bassey proved to be, in this match, a leader in that back for Fulham. Just dominant. Not only that, he was making runs up front. Just a wonderful performance from Calvin Bassey. If I'm going to give a man of the match, I'm going to give it to Calvin Bassey. That is who I'm going to give man of the match to. Okay. So let me just see some comments. And Chris, thank you very much for just sharing your thoughts. That's very big of you. Chris is a Liverpool supporter, so he's here, win, lose, or draw. So you deserve credit for coming on here and sharing some comments. So I'm going to share them. The slot machine got rated. Congrats on the win. The best team on the day won the game. Thank you, Chris. You are just a gentleman for saying that. You don't have to, but I'm just glad that you did. And you also shared this. And I think this is a part of the story. Liverpool did get bullied. So definitely thank you very much for sharing that. So let's see. Here's from Stephen Murray. He's got some comments. Seth's right wing, great. Muniz, massive. Bassi, man of the match. That's who I'm going with man of the match. Let's see. I've got another Bassi for man of the match. Let's see. Isaac wants to share this comment. And this is from Tim Regal. He says, 100% man of the match, Calvin Bassi. He was all over the field. He was. That's what was amazing about this. And I'm glad we're getting all of these comments. I want to thank everyone for joining me on this quick episode. I just was excited. I didn't really plan anything. I just wanted to do a show because it's a massive victory, and I think it warranted a show. So here we go. This is from my friend Paul. Come on, Fulham, get in, and just keep them coming. Like I said, this is not the end of commentary on this Fulham victory. Trust me on that. We'll have several shows, and I can't wait to talk to others about that. But I am going to wrap up this show. I do want to mention just major thank you to everyone that is watching me live and everyone that watches and listens to Cottage Talk. This show means the world to me. About a year ago, I made the decision to end Cottage Talk. I did, because it was just getting to the point where I was tired and I didn't know if I had anything else to say on Fulham. And there's some great shows talking Fulham, and I thought it was time to walk away. But I got the response from the Fulham supporters that reached out to me and just basically said they didn't want me to stop doing Cottage Talk. And but the person who basically just changed my mind was my son Brady, who's not a Fulham supporter. He doesn't follow the sport, but he was the one that basically said to me, Dad, you have to continue to do Cottage Talk. You love it, and people love your show. And he saw that when we were in Philadelphia, when we did the live show with the guys from Fulhamish. And he was not happy with me that I was considering stopping Cottage Talk. So a major shout out to my son Brady, because he's the major reason, along with the Fulham supporters. It's basically both that kept me doing Cottage Talk. And if I didn't listen to the Fulham supporters and Brady, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do a show like this after such a massive Fulham victory. So thank you to you, and thank you to my son. And that's how I'm going to end this episode. My name's Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk, part of the Talk Sport Fan Network.